Hello. Welcome back to another episode of According to Annie. I am so excited to be dropping on in with you once again today. I am Annie and I am your host. Oh, I am so excited to drop straight into today's episode. It has been something that's been really common in my community at the moment, and that is around being consistent on social media. And how do you stay on top of it? And do you need to? All of these things. So this actually got sparked by a conversation that I was having with one of my recent clients. And the question that I had asked her was, what is your biggest challenge at the moment within the business? And she had answered back and said that the biggest challenge I'm facing right now is trying to stay consistent on my social media and trying to show up all of the time. And I said to her, okay, let's talk this through. So I said to her, can you explain to me, first of all, do you want to show up on social media? And she was like, yeah, like I do. And I said, can you explain to me what the challenge is? And she's like, just trying to find the time and trying to find, the energy to like constantly be creating all of the stuff all of the time. Like she's like, it's exhausting, Annie. And sometimes I just don't have the energy to do it. And I said to her, okay, I hear you. And I'm pretty sure that she is not alone. And since then, I have actually shared it within my Facebook group as well. And it's definitely clear that she's not alone. And so as we were having this beautiful conversation together around, showing up on social media and all of that, she discovered that a lot of her expectations that she had was actually based on the stigma of what society says. There's all of these business coaches out there. There's lots of people that are like, in order for you to be successful, you must post X amount of times a day. You must show up on socials X amount of times a day. You must have a content strategy that looks like X, Y, Z. And they give you like the 30-day planner, and you should schedule content, and you should create reels and have them sitting in the bank, and all of this, like, oh my gosh, it's a lot, isn't it? There's a lot to it when it comes to running an online business, or if you're running a business that also relies on social media to get new clients to come in, which majority of my audience will be, because they are salon owners. And so I think there's a lot of stigma and a lot of hype around what you should do. And I'm going to break this down for you today, because I'm not going to sit here and say that sharing stuff on your social media is not important. It is important, okay? It is important for you to show up. It is important if you want to continue to grow your business, but it's only a piece of the puzzle. And I don't want you to get caught up in thinking that it is the only thing that's going to grow your business, because it's not. It is, I want you to think of making a cake, right? If you make a cake and you miss one of the ingredients out of the cake making, the cake's not going to work. Yeah. But if you have all of the ingredients while you're making the cake, then you're going to have this most beautiful cake, because you've followed the instructions and you've got all of the ingredients that were actually needed. And so social media is an ingredient. Yeah. It's an ingredient for the recipe of success. So I don't want you to get caught up thinking that it is the only thing that grows your business. There's multiple ways that you can grow your business. Social media is just one aspect. And the other point that I want to touch on as well is that unless you are really, really clear on who your ideal market is, maybe your ideal client isn't even on social media. And so now you're getting yourself so worked up about having to do all of this stuff on social media, when perhaps your clientele is, I don't know, let's just say she's age 50 and above, right? Is that where you're going to find your audience? Probably not. Maybe a few. I know my grandma's on social media, but not many are. So get really clear on who is your ideal audience, and then actually understand that from you understanding who your person is, then you get to market to that person based on how you're best going to find that person. So there's a couple of aspects here. So there's that aspect. The other aspect that I want to get into as well is that if you are coming from a place of advertising or doing social media from a place of like, oh, I just have to do my social media today. Oh my gosh, I don't have time to do it, but I've got to get that post up. And I don't know what I'm going to even post. I'll just do a quick little video of the salon and just say appointments available this week. If that is what you're doing, I would recommend that you do not post anything at all. And the reason for that is because when we look at it from an energetics point of view, the vibration that you're putting out there, and if you've been listening to these episodes, you will hear me say this. I will say this until I'm blue in the face, because I honestly do believe it is the absolute game changer that shifts everything in your world. And so I want to say the energetics is really important, because we are vibrational human beings living in a vibrational world. And so whatever frequency you put out there is what you get met back with. So if you're about to post something and the energy behind what you're posting is, I've just got to do this because I don't have any other choice. And like, if I don't do it, then we're going to have a quiet week. And if we have a quiet week, well, then that means the money is going to be less. And if we have less money, then I'm going to be stressed out. And I don't want to feel stressed out. So you know what? I'll just do the post. Yeah. Your clients feel that energy. They feel it before you even post it. And this happens on a subconscious level. It doesn't happen on a conscious level where they look at it and they're like, oh yeah, I feel the vibe on that. It happens on a subconscious level where they feel it and then they're like, yeah, nah, I'm not gonna book this week. But if you came with a higher vibration and you're like, oh, I'm so excited, there's only a couple of appointments left this week. Like, come on, guys, book your appointment, whatever it is that you're sharing, right? They feel that vibe. They feel it. And so they're more likely to be like, oh, yeah, cool. Actually, I've been meaning to book this appointment. And then they jump on in and they fill the spot. And so there's the energetics part of it as well. So if you are posting from that place of, I just have to do it, that is the worst time for you to actually post anything at all, because the vibration gets shared and everyone feels that. And so I was saying to this beautiful client of mine, I said, okay, so you have this belief system right now that in order for you to be taken seriously and in order for people to want to spend the money in her salon, she felt like she needed to show up on her social media every day, all day, whether that's in stories, whether that is in whether that's in stories or whether that is in like feeds, stuff that you post in your feed. And as we were like debunking all of these beliefs that she had coming up for her, this was something that was really, really obvious for her that we were able to break through. And it came down to, she was doing it because she thought, yes, number one, that was going to get her to have more clients, but she had created a story around it that it made her look more professional if she was constantly showing up on social media. That was the story that really, the root of where we were at. And then as we delved deeper into that, what actually happened was that, okay, so what would happen if people didn't think that you were professional? Well, if people didn't think that she was professional, then they wouldn't book in her salon. Okay. And then what would happen? What would that mean if people didn't book into your salon? Well, then if people didn't book into my salon, well, then that would mean that, I'm not good enough. Okay. And what would that mean? Well, if I'm not good enough, well, then who am I to be running this business? And can you see how just this one simple question that I asked her around, what is your biggest challenge at the moment right now? We were able to break through so many different layers of her timeline where this was actually being stuck. And as we were going through all of this, we discovered that this was a really big story, and it actually plays out in other areas of her life as well. And that's usually what happens. How we do one thing is how we do all things. And so as we were like debunking it and going through this belief system that she had, we actually figured out that there was a lot more to what meets the eye here than just her posting on social media. It was also the expectation of what other people had said to her that she needed to do in order to be successful. And so I'm coming at you with a very, very, very different opinion right now, because I don't believe in that. And when I said to her, when you look at my social media, what do you see? And she was like, I see someone that has their shit together. And I was like, really? That's good. I'm glad that you see that. Because I honestly think that none of us have our shit together. I think we're all doing the very best that we can at that point in time. And if we could do better, we would be doing better. But thank you for the beautiful compliment. But I said to her, do you see me post every day? And she's like, yeah, I think I do. And I was like, that's the thing, I don't. And she was like, really? I feel like you do. And I was like, I don't. I actually post on my stories every second day. And I post on my feed when I feel the hit, because I refuse to subscribe to, I have to post something for the sake of posting it. I post something because I'm like, this is an important message. This is something that I feel like other people need to hear. This is something that's been really common in my community, and I feel like others need to hear this as well. Or I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so good. I just want to share this right now. And so even if you go back through and look at the dates, there is no strategy, air quotation marks, as such, because energy over everything. And I guarantee that the reason that it feels like I post stuff all of the time is because you feel my energy behind what I'm posting. And it's because it's super intentional. There is intention behind it. It's felt, it's real. There's value in it. And so when you're seeing my stuff, it feels like that there's stuff being shared all of the time, but there's actually not. And the truth is that no one actually cares about your business as much as you do. So if you don't show up for a couple of days, your clients aren't going to be like, oh, Susie hasn't shown up on social media for 3 days. Wonder what's going on. That's crazy. I hope everything's okay. They are so caught up in their own life that they don't even know what's going on for themselves. And most of the time when people are on social media, it's usually a numbing out effect, and it's just they just want to get some peace and quiet. So they're just aimlessly scrolling. They're not even intentional. They're not even consciously aware of them being on social media. So they would be very rarely even aware how often you were showing up on socials. The only person that knows that is you. The only person that knows whether you've got a strategy and you didn't stick to your strategy is you. That's it. Nobody else knows what goes on behind the scenes. And this comes down to an expectation that you put on yourself. And that's it. So I want to ask you a question, and if this is resonating for you, I really invite you to journal on this. What would it look like to release that expectation of yourself? What would that look like? And actually journal out that. Feel into it. Like, what would that look like if I release this expectation of having to show up all of the time, even when it doesn't feel good? I think showing up on social media is way more powerful when you show up when it feels good. Yeah. I will not post something. I will change dates of launches. I will change my schedule of things that I've had booked in if I am not feeling 100% in the zone of doing what I need to do, because I know how important that is for the audience that feel my message that I have. So if I've set a date on launching something, and as it gets to that date, I'm like, oh, I'm not feeling that, I give myself full permission to change that date, because it's a disservice to the people in my world if I was to show up because I felt like I had to. And that should be the exact same way that you feel with you and your audience and your community. You shouldn't be posting something for the sake of posting it. That's a disservice to your community. You are a leader. You are a mentor. You are a new paradigm salon owner. And we do not subscribe to the old ways of working, of doing business. So what is the new way? Well, the new way is so fucking delicious, honestly. And it's going to give you so much permission. And I'm giving you full-blown permission here right now. So the new way is, how do I feel right now about creating some content? And if that is not a full fuck yes, then maybe you could ask yourself, why? And how can I get myself into alignment in order to create some content? And then from that space, that's when you should be creating it. But not creating content out of fear, out of lack, out of like, oh, I have to do this. So I invite you to pick the things that bring you joy in your business. So what are the things that bring you joy when you are running your business? Maybe it's doing your clients. Maybe it's looking at all of the numbers. Maybe it is creating content. Maybe it's, what brings me joy? Not even within the business, but like maybe it's putting some music on and having a dance and letting that feminine flow within you. Maybe it's going for a walk and getting your feet grounded in Mama Earth and really feeling her support to nurture you so that you can show up fully for yourself and for your community. Whatever it is, like, feel into that. Like, what brings you joy? Because the more that you tap into the feeling of joy, the easier it's going to be for content to flow through you. The easier it's going to be for your audience to feel it and be like, yes, this chick is vibing. This is so good. Oh my gosh, her content is next level, because you're being really, really intentional with the content that you are creating. And so how can you learn to start tapping more and more into that feeling of joy in your everyday life? Maybe it's playing a beautiful playlist in the mornings. Maybe it's sipping a beautiful warm cacao or a coffee in the mornings and just being and just letting the sun beam on your face. Maybe that's what it is. Whatever it is, you'll know that thing that brings you joy. Tap more into that, because I guarantee that when you start showing up for your business from a joy state, which is a heightened vibration, everything else in your world is going to start to fall more into place. So just to recap on all of this beautifulness right now, yes, there's strategy. Is posting on social media important? Yes, it is. Yeah, I don't want you to think that it's not. It is important. But what's more important is your energy behind it and your intention behind what it is that you're wanting to create. That is what's more important. So before you feel obligated to have to go and create any kind of content, I really invite you to ask yourself, is this coming from a place of love, or is this coming from a place of fear? And if it is coming from a place of love, amazing, babe. Go and create until your heart is fucking content and share your messages and your medicine with the world. But if it's coming from a place of fear, what would it look like to pause, sit with that fear, find out what is actually going on a deeper level, maybe journal out some stuff. And then when you are feeling in a better state, then going ahead and sharing your medicine with the world. And I think this is why it's so important to be in mentorships, because mentorship gives you this different perspective on how to show up for your business. It gives you permission to sometimes just take a break. Yeah. You're the only one that knows what goes on behind the scenes in your business. Nobody else knows that stuff. So give yourself some slack. What has got you to where you are has made you be successful. Yeah, you are amazing with where you're at. Do you want more? Of course you want more. You wouldn't be listening to this episode if you did not want more in your life. But you have to trust your divine timing. You have to trust the timing. And if you're in pure alignment with your business, then you won't be met with any resistance. So the content will actually be pretty easy to create. But it's when we're out of alignment, that's when the issues start to come up. That's when the resistance happens. That's when we want to procrastinate. That's when overwhelm kicks in, because something's out of alignment. When we're in alignment, we are in divine flow, and nothing feels hard. Nothing feels stressful. Everything just flows. So I hope that today's episode has given you permission to not post just because you feel like you have to, but to actually post from such a beautiful space in your heart where you really want to share this message with the world, with whatever it is. Maybe it's some education. Maybe it's a before and after that you did in the salon. Whatever it is, pour so much love into it. Don't make it be a chore. That is your creative space. That's your creative outlet. Use social media like you would when you're in the salon. If this has landed for you, come and let me know. I would love to hear in my DMs, whether that's Facebook or Instagram. I would love to hear from you. Come and just say hi even. I would love to hear from you. And if this is the kind of work that you want to be able to tap into a little bit more and get the strategy and understand how to actually attract those high-paying clients and not be posting those things to attract discounted services, discounted clients and offering discounted services, then this is the work that we do in Ignite, the mini mastermind for salon owners who are really looking to go to that next level within their business, but are feeling a little bit stuck on what those next steps are. Maybe they need a little bit of accountability. Maybe they just need some foundational frameworks put back in place. Maybe they've kind of got a little bit lost in their business and they kind of need to rein it back in and kind of understand what their role is as a CEO within the business. So this is the kind of work that we do. We focus on the 4 pillars, which if you're new to this, it is financial management, it is aligned marketing, it is easy sales, and it is feminine leadership. Those 4 pillars is truly what I believe allows us to be able to take our financials to the next level, which essentially creates freedom, which is what we all crave. All right, babe, until next time, I'll talk to you soon. Bye.